Radio 97.3 FM. News and talk, powered by the Pacific Northwest.
The Big Lead is brought to you by 3010 Weight Loss for Life.
The Dori Monson Show on KIRO Radio. This is The Big Lead.
Oh, still basking in the afterglow, man. Not only of that Seahawks win, but as Ursula just said, the Sounders are MLS champions. And how cool is this? The coach of the Sounders, right in the middle of the victory parade, is going to talk to us live in about 60 seconds
that's
here.
awesome.
So it is awesome.
Great.
It's a good man.
A lot of people out there right now, a lot of blue and green.
Absolutely. And before we talk with Brian Schmetzer, we have some breaking news to share.
The Big Lead. Breaking news.
And it is about the Seahawks. We have just gotten word, I just got the text moments ago, that the Seahawks' next game, they have a bye next weekend, and their next game was scheduled to be Sunday Night Football against the Philadelphia Eagles. And you would think that after the thrill the Seahawks provided the nation last night, that NBC and the league would have loved to have had the Seahawks in primetime again. But no, they've just flexed that game, which means they're probably going to put the Green Bay Packers and 49ers in primetime on that Sunday.
What?
And the Seahawks are going to be a 10 a.m. kickoff now in Philadelphia a week from Sunday.
That's nuts.
Just got that word. Hey, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger.
I just want to see what the ratings were from last night.
Oh, they're huge. Okay, we'll get back to all of this stuff, but let's get to our exclusive.
The Big Lead. Dori Monson Show exclusive.
As you heard, there is a huge rally going on right now in downtown Seattle. And in the midst of it, how nice, how cool for the coach of the MLS champion, Seattle Sounders, to call into the big show. Brian Schmetzer joins us. Coach, it is great to talk with you again.
Dori, well, thank you. I mean, things are pretty hectic down here, but you know, we're all excited. I watched the Seahawks last night. Sounders have had success. I mean, we're having a good weekend in Seattle.
Yes, we are. And you guys kicked it off with that game Sunday afternoon. And Brian, you know, we talked about this when you won the championship a couple of years ago. Just I know that you always give credit to your players, but I love your story. I love that you're a Nathan Hale guy that's coming from a Ballard Beaver here, that you've been living your dream, your passion of soccer your whole life. What is it like to experience this kind of success in the city that you just never left?
Dori, it was a little overwhelming for me, to be honest. I mean, the build-up to the week was, you know, there was a lot of excitement, Seattle hosting its first MLS Cup. But we as coaches, I mean, we were at work. We were trying to find the game plan, trying to fine-tune, you know, our training sessions, trying to get all that done, and it was mentally draining. And then, you know, the pressure of the game, you know, the home team expected to win, this massive crowd. Finally, when it was over, when we finally won, it was like, oh, my God, this just happened. So a little overwhelming, but, you know, certainly proud of Seattle, our organization, the city, the players, the fans. I mean, it's been really fantastic.
Well, and the fact that you had 70,000 people nearly there on Sunday afternoon just showed a region. And I was talking with Matt Johnson about this last week, Brian, that, you know, as a youth sports coach myself, we were always competing with soccer because the soccer around here for kids is incredible. And obviously that has built and sustained just this deep connection between your team and the people of this area.
Yeah, I think for years, you know, people were talking even about in the 80s, the Sounders back in the 80s, oh, is it going to be this generation? Is it going to be the kids of the people who watch the Sounders in the Kingdom? Is their kids going to grow up and be soccer fans? You know, pro sports is pro sports, and buying tickets, selling tickets, you know, organizationally, all that sort of stuff. The youth movement has always been there. There's more kids playing youth soccer now than ever. And so it's just our job to, you know, tap into that market to make sure we put a good product out on the field and get those people in the stadium.
Right after the game, I played a soundbite on yesterday's show, Brian. You were very deeply emotional right after the game. Take me into the depth of that emotion and, you know, kind of the wellspring of that.
Well, I was just, again, I was a little overwhelmed, Dori. I was emotionally drained. There was a hole. There was like, you know, If you're going to hear a loud cheer, though, but Russell and Ciara are coming walking into the plaza, Dori, so you're going to hear some cheers now. But my emotions were, I was just overcome with, the pride that I have for the city, the players, the fans, and, it's just been great.
Well, look, I know that you're right in the midst of this parade, and I'm going to let you get to enjoying it and just being in the moment. But we just wanted to touch base. Thank you for all the thrills you're bringing to the region, Brian, and congratulations on your incredible run of success here.
Thank you, Dori. Thank you.
All right, have a great day today. That is the coach of the Seattle Sounders joining us live. How nice and man. How cool is that? Right as this parade gets going, that he calls in to say hi to you and to me. So Brian Schmetzer, that is a good man there, and the Sounders are getting their richly deserved parade. And now, the event from last night. That's next in the Big Lead.
The Big Lead, top trending.
Russell Wilson, after the game, said it was the craziest game he had ever been a part of. And what I said right as the game ended, as we began our post-game show, is this game was hyped endlessly for about 8 days. The 7-2 Seahawks, the undefeated 49ers. And rarely do games live up to that much hype. Rarer still is when a game exceeds all of the hype. And as I was watching that thing unfold, it struck me that there's nothing that's real in this world anymore. Reality TV isn't real. It's all scripted by producers. The world that I talk about so much on this show, politics, local, national, there's nothing real about politics. Nothing's real. Nothing's genuine. But when you watch a game like that one last night, that's genuine. That's real. And that's so rare. And then the other thing, it's galvanizing. When you have something that brings together millions of people in this region. I haven't seen the overnights yet. I'm guessing they got about an 80 share last night. And the way the game unfolded, the Seahawks down 10-0 in the second quarter. They were in danger of going into halftime without scoring at all. And that's when the defense needed to step up and make a play.
Coleman empties out to the right side wide. Empty backfield for Garoppolo, who stands strong. Gets hit. Ball is out. Ball is picked up. Clowney goes the other way. He's in. Touchdown, Seahawks.
I mean, Jadeveon Clowney had the game of his life last night. So now all of a sudden, instead of being down 10 at halftime, they're in it. It's 10-7. And then the Seahawks score a touchdown in the third quarter. They get another one in the third quarter after Jadeveon Clowney forced another turnover.
Garoppolo takes the snap, four-man rush. Has time, steps up, gets hit, ball comes out. Yes. Do the Seahawks get it? They do!
Yeah, they did. And so that set up a touchdown. So now the Seahawks, after being down 10, they're up 11, 21-10. So now it feels like the game's in the bag, right? Wrong.
2nd and 7, Russ under center. Play fake, he's going to throw, look out, he's being chased, now he's going to get dropped from behind. Blitz coming from the backside. Ball comes out, it's still on the loose, it's picked up. DeForest Buckner picked it up, Russ got sacked, but I thought the ball was down, it was not. The ball came out, and now the San Francisco defense takes a page out of the Seahawks playbook.
Oh, so now it's a three-point game, a field goal ties it. And then you got the two kickers. This kid for San Francisco, he was on the beach a week ago. And then their kicker gets an injury. And so you want to come kick for us against the Seahawks in the most important game of the year so far? And the kid for the 49ers, his name is Chase McLaughlin. Which, by the way, it's a very cool name. I don't like the 49ers very much. But Chase McLaughlin is a pretty cool name. So he hit, what did he hit? 1, 2 field goals. And then right at the end of regulation, they're down by 3. Seahawks are up by 3. And this kid who had no idea what his future was going to be a week ago He has a 47-yard kick to tie the game and to push it into overtime. But that'd be too Cinderella-ish, right?
Wisnowski, the punter, will do the holding. Snap, spot, kick is away. It's long enough, and it's good. And we have 1 second left with a tie score of 24 apiece.
So with 1 second left, the kid ties it. They go to overtime. It's going to come down to the kickers. The kid who was on the beach a week ago versus the Seahawks kicker, Jason Myers, who couldn't make anything last week. So now Chase McLaughlin has a chance to win it for the 49ers. This might be the worst field goal attempt in football history after he had just drilled everything prior to that.
The kick is away. The kick is no good. He shanked and left. And there's hope yet for the Seahawks with 3:06 to play.
Still looked like Seahawks might end up playing to a tie because they had a third down and Russell Wilson then pulled out some magic.
Russ has to get the ball out of his hands. No, he's got running room. 45, midfield, first down, slides down, is run into from behind after he's on the ground, but he's across the 40-yard line. Huge opening on the right side for Russell Wilson, and he picks up 20 and a first down.
So this is where I get back to the sheer human drama of something that's real. So the Seahawks kicker, Jason Myers, he missed a game winner 8 days earlier. Missed it. And so then last night, with 4 seconds left, final play of the game, he's got to make a 42-yarder for the Seahawks to get this incredible victory. But can you imagine the pressure? He had missed 3 kicks a week earlier, and now he's staring at a situation similar to the one that he missed last week at home. I mean, that's a level of pressure that most of us will not experience.
At the 45, waits for the snap. Michael Dixon puts it down. That kick is away, and that kick is good! The Seahawks win! It's good! From 42, the Seahawks in overtime win for the second time in 2 weeks, and they beat the undefeated, now once defeated, San Francisco 49ers. What a game on Monday Night Football. The Seahawks win in overtime, and Jason Myers does it. What a game.
It was just absolutely thrilling, and it's just one of those things where it's all anybody was talking about. I was getting hundreds of texts and tweets after the game. You know, we went past midnight with the post game because everybody was just flying on a high. It was really, really fun. But again, it was real. And that's why I think people respond and react the way they do in a time where, you know, everything seems to pull us apart and everything seems to be phony. And here you have one thing that pulls everybody together, and that was about as real as human drama gets with that last night. So it was fun. It was awfully fun. And the Seahawks get a bye week now, and they get a chance to, they have a shot at the best record in the conference. They got a tough schedule coming up, though. Yeah. Last 6 games are brutal. But 8-2 going into the bye is awfully fun. Okay, back to real life. Up next in the big lead.
The Big Lead, Dori Monson Show exclusive.
After the voters overwhelmingly in our state said yes to $30 car tabs in last week's election, immediately you had Jenny Durkin and King County exec Dow Constantine say, we are going to sue the voters. We're going to sue the people and try to overturn this initiative. And why? Well, because Dow Constantine said government doesn't have enough money to be able to take this tax cut. Dow Constantine says government does not have enough money. I am begging you, do not miss the interview that I'm going to present about 10 minutes from now, right after Ursula's bottom of the hour news. We broke the exclusive story months ago about how Dow Constantine abuses his King County Sheriff's protection detail has turned them into his personal Uber service so he can go out drinking while his wife and toddler are at home. And he can go out drinking with women. That's a pretty scurrilous accusation. And I'm not the morality police. If somebody wants to drink and womanize when they have a partner and child at home, that's between them and their partner and their God. I'm not the morality police. But you know what I am? I'm a watchdog for taxpayers. Wait till you hear what one of your fellow listeners caught on camera with Dow Constantine. I'm going to talk to the listener who sent me the pictures, and we're going to talk about the abuse of taxpayers by a guy who is suing the taxpayers because he says they need more money. You are not going to believe this. Coming up about 8 minutes from now, exclusively, here on the Dori Monson Show. And finally, in the big lead. And finally, do we have a final? Oh, okay, I'll just keep going. While we have the most far-left city council in our city's history after the election, socialists abound. They've already sent out messages that they want the heroin death sites around the city. They want to allow these encampments where little girls get raped, turned out for tricks, so heroin addicts who pimp them out can get their next fix. And they've said, we don't want any homeless encampment sweeps. We want the heroin death sites here in Seattle. I told you in San Francisco, they just elected a cop-hating socialist, the son of two terrorist murderers from the Weather Underground. San Francisco just elected this guy as his DA, and he's off and running. Seattle and San Francisco going in lockstep. The new DA in San Francisco has pledged already in the first days after his election to not prosecute public urination. So San Francisco, which already smells like urine, it used to be sourdough bread and the creosote of their beautiful waterfront. And now when you go to San Francisco, as I did with one of my daughters on a college visit a few years ago, San Francisco smells like nothing but urine. And he has said, I pledge I will not prosecute public urination. San Francisco has just officially become, like Seattle, the largest urinal in the country. Don't you love leftist politics? More details on that a little bit later, too. That is your big lead for today.
The Big Lead on KIRO Radio.
Do not miss the interview with one of your fellow listeners and what he caught on camera with your King County executive. Details exclusively next on the Dori Monson Show.